I got sick, and my husband drove me across the province, and I stayed with my parents for 8 months. He was a teacher, so he got up and went to work every day. He said, "I'm not leaving you at home by yourself. I need to take you to somebody who can care for you."
What if the thing you thought would actually break your life became the thing that gave you meaning? Welcome to the SwagAbility Show, friends, where faith meets resilience and stories become light in dark places. I'm your host, Stephen Wagstaff, founder of SwagAbility, where our sole mission is to help you thrive wherever life finds you. If you've ever faced adversity, trauma, loss, burnout, or grief, this space is for you, because we believe your story still has power and your life still has purpose. Today I'm joined by Patti Bevilacqua. Patti's turned to be a dear friend of mine. She brings powerful perspective on mindset, resilience, and what it means to live with purpose, even when life takes an unexpected turn. Patti, thanks for taking time to join me today, and thank you for being patient as I learn your name.
Thank you, Stephen, I'm just so grateful that I found you. I feel this is an excellent space, so thank you for helping me get my message out there.
And that's exactly what we do want, your message to get out. Your message is phenomenal. I think a lot of the time, even as friendships begin and even on shows like this, a lot of time we want to jump in and start in that moment when life changes for someone and that diagnosis or that call comes. But I'm kind of that interviewer that kind of wants to know the before. So I'm wondering if before we go to that doctor appointment or that call, let me, if you will, push in a little bit to understand and get to know Patti a little bit before that call, before that doctor report came in. Who is Patti, and what did she love to do?
So Patti was born in a very small town in British Columbia where you couldn't skip school because everybody else's mom was your mom. So we stayed in school and loved it. I played sports, community, and school, and we had a new PE teacher come to the high school, and I wanted to be just like Carol. I wanted to teach physical education and have the same impact on my students as she had on me. So off to university, it was amazing. And I was an athlete out there. I was valedictorian of my university graduating class. I was the first to get a job. I couldn't tell anybody because people were still interviewing, but I had a job all locked up, and it was perfect. Everything was falling into my lap, and there's nothing else that I wanted.
Can I ask how old you are? I know it's never polite to ask a lady an age, but how old were you when school ended, the job secured, and you're living your greatest life on earth? What age would you have been at that time?
22.
My land, so life ahead of you, blue skies, convertible top down, and you're cruising in life.
Did you see me then? Because I did have a convertible when I applied
No.
for a job.
No, that's funny though, but yeah, I usually use it as an expression before life takes you wrong. You get your hand around your babe and you got the rooftop down, and those years were just, life was sailing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I will tell you that. I'll pick a number. If I had 800 Facebook friends, and 14 of them are former students.
You were that impactful teacher. That's awesome. Yeah. I never taught in the public system, but I had the privilege to be the dean of men at a seminary I attended. And when I was the dean of men, it was the greatest gift to have students lined up at your office to want to come and talk, or still to get an email this day saying, you know what, on that time we should have got kicked out or whatever, you didn't go down on it. And so it is a precious time, and you're shaping people's lives, and what a powerful spot. And I think we owe it to teachers. I think it's one of the hardest jobs, and I think becoming one of the most dangerous jobs as well at the same time. So we got to love and support our teachers for sure. They live in some crazy times. Yeah. So life's going along well. And did you start to feel unwell? Did you start to notice symptomatic things? How did life become where did the pendulum swing till things started to become a little off center, if you don't mind me asking?
So I started teaching in September 1989. And in January 1990, I woke up and I had double vision. So I wiped my eyes, cleaned my glasses, still didn't go away. Taught all day and made an appointment with my GP. I went in to see her. Your optic nerve is inflamed. I'm going to send you to a specialist. 2 weeks later, I saw an ophthalmologist. He sent me for an MRI. And in March 1990, before the end of my first year of teaching physical education, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
And that would have been how old at that time?
I was still 22. I would turn 23 in March.
And if I might be mistaken, but is MS one of those things that, is it one of the most hardest diseases or illnesses to actually get a positive diagnosis on? Don't they run numerous tests before they can finally rule out everything and say, this is for sure what it is?
I know people who lived with the diagnosis of probable MS for an extended period of time. And with probable MS, you cannot apply for disability. So I'm 60 now. I still have double vision. It's never gone away. So I have a prism in my glasses that helps me see single vision. Because that was my first symptom, and I still have it. The lesion in my brain was so defined, pronounced, and deep that from the first MRI, I knew what I had, which is a blessing, Stephen.
Is it?
Yes, because now I had a name of something. And I read everything, went to the workshop. I did everything to get a hold of this. And I know people out there are still trying to find somebody who will believe that these symptoms are not just in their head. So my path was direct and narrow. There was not a lot of, let's try this. So that worked for me.
Yeah. I mean, shock is obviously going to be the first thing all of us go through when we deal with news like that. Now you're a teacher, you're doing the thing you love. What were some of the things that you noticed immediately started to get stripped away? Maybe not by work itself, but was it mental health? Was it the ability to do things? Like, I remember for me, it was instant. For quadriplegic, instant. But I often think of those people that deal with a disease that progresses, and I don't know how I deal with that. If it's not too painful, can you kind of relive some of that for us and how MS attacks a person and how it worked out?
So fatigue, poor balance.
For a phys ed teacher.
And depression.
Really? And
depression not because poor me, but depression as a symptom of MS. I couldn't teach like the teacher I wanted to be. And the hardest part, Stephen, something else made that decision for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. So I taught PE for 6 years. And then I got sick, and my husband drove me across the province, and I stayed with my parents for 8 months. He was a teacher, so he got up and went to work every day. He said, I'm not leaving you at home by yourself. I need to take you to somebody who can care for you. So he drove me out there, and I was back in my childhood bedroom. My mom and dad were trying to figure out what they did wrong. And I'm saying, I love you guys, but this has nothing to do with you, right?
Other than the mental health side and the hurt and the sadness, those things, what were the domino effects? If we can compartmentalize those side for the healing of the inside, how does it manifest itself on the outside? We are all capable of putting masks on and things like that, but if we hide that part, because I'd like this to kind of be educational as well for people, what does MS manifest itself physically as it progresses? And I hate that word, but it is a word that happens. What types of things did you have to learn to adapt or work with? Was it a rapid onset? Yeah, and then we'll shift to some more positive things after, but just trying to put that person that's out there right now dealing with maybe hearing this for the first time, and they're just starting their journey and they're battling those inner demons, but they're also wondering on the physical side, what do I expect? And maybe for everyone it's different. I don't know.
That is the best question you could ask me right now. I didn't look sick.
Yeah.
On the outside, why are you teaching today? Well, I have multiple sclerosis and I'm having a bad day. Oh, you don't look sick, and it has not shown up on me, but it slowly stripped away my identity, and that killed me. I only had plan A. I didn't have anything else I wanted to do. So
Yeah.
now what?
The good news to this story is today, what you're doing is phenomenal. So, but that didn't come as like a one day on this, open the door and a new life on this. Tell me how, if we can use the word mind shift, I know how it happened for me, but in your life, how did this life-crushing diagnosis that took the wind not only of your sails, but your parents and everybody's sails, when were you able to grapple with it? And when did you start to see a sliver of hope and goodness in life?
I got a call from a nurse at the MS clinic out at the university that I qualified for a research trial. 1 infusion every 6 months, minimal side effects, promising results. You want in? Yeah. Went and got my first infusion. I was on fire. I talked the whole way home in the car. I was going to join the gym again. I cleaned my house top to bottom, opened drawers that I hadn't reorganized in years. Fast forward 6 months, infusion number 2, walking, laughing, loving life. Infusion number 3 is 6 months away, and about 4 months away, I get a letter. They're canceling the trial because there's been no significant difference between the group who got the drug and the group who got the placebo. And by the way, Patti Bevilacqua, you were on the placebo.
Wow.
So everything I felt and experienced was real. What was the difference?
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back since, because if I could do it then, darn it, I'm going to do it for the rest of my life.
That's amazing. I mean, first of all, I wouldn't believe them, first of all, because it's hard to believe that our minds are capable of paralyzing us, yet given a sliver of hope and even tricking our minds into everything is good, our physical body follows suit. And even for a spinal cord injury, a C5 quadriplegia, I would 100% say amen to that, because it came to that for me. Because crying, bitterness, and being angry at the world for me didn't cut it. And I was 19. I thought, I can't do the whole world like this, the whole life. And so I'm like, darn it, I'll look for something good in it. And if that wasn't the best thing ever, and from that, I've never looked back. But even though I never got my paralysis cured, my mind was a brand new place. It was a renewing of my mind, which is a biblical term. You talk a lot about, well, you've explained it kind of in the idea of an invisible backpack. Can we talk about that for a little bit and kind of unpack what that analogy is for our viewers, if you will?
Over time, I realized that everybody is carrying an invisible backpack full of bricks. It could be financial struggles, relationship troubles, eating disorder, mental health, the loss of a parent, behind on the mortgage payment, you name it. I really believe everybody has this backpack. And when you meet people and they don't know your story, they judge you based on what they see, and that is wrong. So I'll tell you where this came from. Paul and I were at the pub having dinner. Paul had 2 beer. I had my club soda. We get home. Our dogs have taken every toy out of the toy box and the floor is covered. I go into the kitchen. Doorbell rings. Paul answers, "Patti, it's for you." I kind of negotiate my way through the stores, and it's a police officer. "Why are you walking like that?" "I have MS." White face. Somebody at the pub got the license plate, saw me drive away, and reported me as an impaired driver because Paul had to help me up the steps. When I stood up, I fell down first, and I thought, you know what? I'm not the first and I'm not the last, but I need to help people learn how to manage that.
Yeah, you're right about not the last.
We judge based on what other people see.
Yeah, which is so wrong. Yeah, we arrive at unfair conclusions before. Unfortunately, society, I think, has taught us that, and not only taught us, but taught us it's acceptable. How often do we correct that?
And I mean, I did it too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But now the shoe is on the other foot. I'm not going to talk about, I am going to talk about how we can get rid of some of these bricks, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying it's easy or quick. Were there days I wanted to quit? Days I was done? Absolutely. It's taken me a long time to get here. And if I can shorten that amount of time for anybody, I've done good work, right?
Let's talk about that for a sec. How, if, not that you can snap your fingers, but for the person listening, and it doesn't have to be an MS, because I pray this show goes out wherever it lands, it falls on ears that need encouragement or motivation or just need to know, how do I get through today? So whether it's MS or any other thing, I think the same principles apply. What is one of the first, for a teacher, ABCs that you would tell a person in terms of trying to take some of these bricks out of our backpack so we're okay to walk around in life not slouched over trying to hide or trying to carry this? Are you able to answer some of those questions?
Absolutely.
Please do.
Number one, give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Number two, you may have a backpack full of invisible bricks. You're also carrying a box of cards, and the box of cards, you can play them however you want. Listen to your body.
Those are great analogies. I agree with all of it. Listen to your body is a number one for sure, but I've never heard of that analogy before. Yeah, the backpack, I get it, but the deck of cards, you're right. Because that's why I was determined to, when we came up with a slogan that said, thrive where life finds you. I recognize there's people on ventilators. I recognize as a C5 quad, I'm blessed because my arms move. My hands don't work, but my arms move. So I'm incredibly blessed that way. But I am still of the opinion, and I take the Bible for what it is. You still have innate value, worth in your body, and whether you believe it or not, you're influencing people every day. There's no neutral ground. It's either a positive or a negative way. People are making assumptions all the time. So whether you can't speak or not, you still have the ability to thrive in life based on how you react to situations, how you carry yourself, how you respond to someone's even judgment. And so you're right. I never thought about that, but that deck of cards.
Yeah, and I really, really believe that when you smile at someone,
Yes.
it's a really good percentage of a chance they're going to smile back at you. That's a great feeling. So give yourself some grace and give yourself some space. And it's okay to have bad days. And the hardest lesson I learned, asking for help is not a weakness. Learning to ask for help is a badge of courage. Wear it.
And I used to think it was, for me, a young man at 19, was hard to ask. But I'm starting to think now, the longer I've lived, I wasn't ready to accept caregivers into my home. So I think it's actually harder the longer you live, to start to ask for help. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you're onto something. I think the more independent and the more you've done things for, the longer it is to let people into that circle of my identity, my bubble. I can't. You can't. It's mine. Wow.
Because it was, what if I ask for help and the person says no?
Or I don't know how. Yeah. Or I don't know how. Or
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah. And then I eventually got to that place where nobody has said no.
No.
People are very willing to help. So I always see things, life experiences, events, very optimistically. And it has served me very well. That's a tool that somebody can, if I planted a seed or I've given you a nugget of hope, yippee skippy.
Yeah. Amen to that. What do you think society, I don't know if we'll come up with an answer, two friends sitting here discussing it, but why do you think authenticity is so hard for people to just accept, number one, accept who we are, and then number two, be okay to let people know who we are? I haven't fully come to an answer with that. Sometimes I think we're afraid of what people might think. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the word authenticity and why we don't often live it out more?
That's a really great question, because it took me a long time to stop telling my illness story. And every time I told my illness story, I kept going back. And now it could be 2 centimeters, a meter, 1 kilometer. Doesn't matter how far you move. Just go forward and be true to you. We don't have just one identity. I believe our heart is where our authenticity lives. So give yourself grace, trust your heart, and know you're not the only one who has challenges.
You're a well thought through.
You can do this. Takes practice. It's not easy.
No, I know it wouldn't be.
Do this.
And you have done it. Let's talk a little bit about the work you're doing now, because I think it's fantastic. Sneak peek, I've been given a little bit of a privilege to be able to work on a landing page website for what Patti does, and I'm excited about doing it. So I'm excited for not the world just to see it, but to hear what she does. So let us in a little bit on what you're doing now. Your words have such weight. Your life experience adds so much credibility, and your authenticity is what the world needs more of. And so tell us now what you're looking to do. And I've seen that you've been speaking at Rotary and some other things. Tell us about what you're doing and what would you like to do more of with this whole theme of MS, fearless. Explain all that for us, will you?
Sure. I would have been happy to retire 35 years later as a teacher.
Yeah.
But when I look at what I've done in the last 10 years, right?
Take us down that road.
So I went and did a PhD after, and I taught at a private college in New York. And then I didn't land any more jobs. And I was hurt by that, but it actually was a blessing, because I started entering speaking competitions, and I love speaking. Put me on a stage, oh my God.
Really?
And then I just recently wrote a book, and it's my story, but it's very reflection focused, and at the end of every chapter are some questions that people can ponder.
What's the title?
MS Doesn't Define Me, the biography of a polymath.
We'll definitely link it in our show notes, because I've either didn't realize or I was talking when I should have been listening. I thought it was all speaking work. That's phenomenal that you wrote that.
That book, so my future is speaking.
Yeah.
And I speak about mindset and resilience. I talk about inclusive leadership. Team leaders, vice presidents, whoever, those people who are working out there all are wearing invisible backpacks full of bricks.
Sure.
So I move it into the workplace. I talk about being awkward is a damn good way to be. And that was my talk for college students, right? Because those are awkward years. So speaking is the platform that I'm really pursuing hard right now.
Well, you're gifted at it, and this show's been some evidence of it. But I had the privilege of teaching in college effective communication. It was a public speaking course. And it's remarkable the transformation that people have when they learn the art of being able to express a message. They get beyond that fear part, because I think everybody, well, it used to be back in the time, like the Romans and that, like they considered it almost an insult to write things down, because it would, to carry yourself and speak was just a commonplace in the market. That's how everything was done. And I think we've got so far away from it. I love technology. It helps me do things every day. But I think our dependency on it has made us dumber, and the fact that we don't take the opportunity. Every one of us has a message.
And I am a firm believer that message stems from your story.
Yes, it does.
And nobody knows your story better than you. And we are story people.
Yes.
My professor in the doctoral program said to me, when you're talking to someone and they look like they're not paying attention to you, your story is so powerful that they stopped listening to yours and started thinking about their own.
Wow, that's deep.
That's deep.
Yeah. Someone needed to hear that. Yeah.
So your story is important.
That's a lot of the excuse I think people make is, I just have a plain, ordinary life. My argument is, no, you don't. You've been gifted different. You have skills. You have life experience. I'm a man of faith anyway, but I believe God's gifted everybody with an ability to add value to the world and add value to one another. That's why we're a society. We crack when we're apart. Look at it now.
Lived experience. Nobody can accuse you of,
No.
well, if they want to accuse you of lying, and maybe people stretch the truth. We all do at one point.
Sure.
But nobody will be able to challenge me on my lived experience.
No, ma'am. No.
Right?
So the book is written. We'll link that in the show notes. You've been doing some public speaking. And we should tell people you're a fellow Canadian. Go Canada,
Yes.
which is great. What about podcasting? Is this the first one? Have I had the privilege of doing the first one? Or have you've been on a couple more?
I've been on a couple, but
Okay.
they've been really sporadic.
Yes.
I'm kind of hitting that.
You'd like to do more of it?
I would.
I think you do a great job at it. It's a conversation for me. There's no work involved here. It's two friends just talking.
Yeah.
And I pray that wherever whose ever ears lands on this, and we've been so blessed as a show, for our listeners that are listening, the last 7 days we had 4 million listeners on our show, with 15,000 unique complete downloads. And so people are listening, and they're going to get your message, Patti. And I would say, if you're an employer, a boss, that you've got employers under you that you need to motivate or encourage, the woman I'm speaking across to is that person. This might be the second or third conversation. I've never left one of them yet where I haven't left in a more upbeat mood, and because there's something about lived experience, kindness, and aha moments. And you've dropped 3 or 4 of them today. That whole, we play our hand how we want. We always say, oh, that's the deck they've been built. Well, it may be so, but the hand we've been dealt doesn't mean we can't play it somehow in a positive light. You don't just fold. I mean, go all in.
Leave with you one thought. So during my first year of teaching, when I had my prep, I'd go to the prep room upstairs, and I would just stare out the window, and just tears would fall. I wasn't sobbing. I wasn't out of control. I was just scared to death.
Yeah.
And this man walked into the teacher prep room and asked me, Patty, do you know why you have multiple sclerosis? And I looked at him and I said, no, but you're going to tell me because I know you. You're arrogant, you're smart, you're an athlete, you're a football player, you're a wrestler. You're going to tell me, right? Yeah. He said, Patty, you were so great in your previous life. You were so great that the universe had to give you a challenge this time around so you can lift other people.
I hope you gave him straight A's, but I would say you won up that report card and married him. What a blessing. That's amazing. People, before we got a couple more minutes, how can people begin right now, to see life unexpected detours? How can we look to see them differently? Quite often, my show is aimed at people whose yesterday, like we said, car top down, hand around one, and the tune's just playing. But today they don't recognize up from down, left from right, darkness from light, and they're grappling for something. I think we need to paint an honest picture that we need to grieve those things. But how can we start to see life's unexpected detours in a different light that start to offer a sliver of hope? I know we've talked about giving ourselves grace and things, but there's some practical things that you almost have to make yourself at some point. Maybe not right away, but can you think of anything that you just practically say, these are things you just do in order to try and get you to the next moment?
Your identity is not a cement block. Your identity is fluid. Sometimes it may match, and sometimes you may feel like you're losing yourself. Whatever you face, don't ever let it define you. And how do you do this? How do you not lose who you are? Take a piece of paper, fold it in half. On this side, write down all the things you love about yourself. On this side, write down the things that you are challenged by, or your negative feelings, or your thoughts, or things that didn't turn out for you. And then rip it in half. And the side of all the negatives, rewrite it positive. So now you have everything you love about yourself and some positive action steps that you can take. Just don't lose yourself. Hold on to who you are. Hold on to your heart.
That's so rich, because anyone can do it. But when we do it, the beauty is when no one's around, we can be truth. We can be true to ourselves. So that piece of paper is who you know to be true. And I would add to that, probably focus on those good qualities. We're so quick to add to those sheets the negative things, the bad things, the dark things. I would spin it around to say, even if you're a glass half empty type of person, don't let the exercise be one of negativity. Find the good things. Yeah, that's really good.
Now it's my turn to say this. Amen.
Becoming a pastor already. Are you doing online? Do you have anything going on in terms of groups, support groups? No. Okay. This is your.
Actually, I have a free Substack newsletter.
That's what I thought it was. Something there. I knew I was missing something. Yeah, tell us about that, please.
It's a newsletter titled Seeing Differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that go out monthly, or will people sign up for that? I know we're a work in progress. We're going to get this. I'm trying not to spill the beans, but anyway, things are coming together quickly. You're going to get opportunity to get at that, but is there a good way to get that through an email or sign up for it yet?
You go on Google and type in Substack Seeing Differently,
Yes.
And you can subscribe, or you
We'll put that in the notes too.
no thanks and just enjoy what you see.
Gotcha.
And read. And, it's light, it's, lived experience based, and it encourages you to take the blinders off, take the detour, safe travels, but enjoy the trip.
I love that. Safe travels, but enjoy the trip. I know you're a woman you're a teacher, and you'll always be a teacher. It was born into you. And so just in dealing with how well organized you are with materials you've given to me and things, I know people are going to get a lot out of that Substack. And I would encourage people, take advantage of these opportunities that you hear on the show. There is no reason why you cannot thrive in life. And I point you back to that study that Patti joined part of, that she was on the placebo. There is no reason why, even with a smile, you cannot thrive in the life we live in. So thank you. Thank you for being authentic. Thank you for being raw. But thank you for bringing encouragement. Because if the world needed something ever right now, it's motivation and encouragement to do the right thing, uplift others. We need it. Thank you, Patti.
It's been a privilege, really.
Oh, a joy.
I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And to everyone listening, if this conversation has encouraged you or challenged you or helped you see your own story a little different, I want to ask you to do a few things. First, would you do us a great favor? Would you follow this podcast, whatever platform you listen on, whether it's Apple or Google? Would you follow the SwagAbility Show? That means more to my wife and I than even a donation, to be honest with you, so you don't miss a future episode. And take a moment and share this episode with someone who you know needs to hear this. We all know people that are going through rough times and need encouragement. Don't be afraid to be that encouragement. And maybe this episode is what helps them see a little sliver of life, and they're the next Patti speaking in their area. I would say stay tuned as well to the future. As Patti, I know, will be getting booked to speak in different areas. We're excited about that. And lastly, maybe not quite lastly, you can also jump over and watch. If you're listening on audio right now in the car, you want to watch it, head on over to our YouTube page at SwagAbility Inc. And there you can catch our full conversation as well and subscribe. If you want to know a little bit more about myself, my wife, what we're doing at SwagAbility, SwagAbility.com has all the answers. We're a nonprofit just working to help people navigate life, whether it's disability, trauma, adversity. Visit us over at SwagAbility.com. If you feel led to give to further the ministry and help others who are in need of assistant technology or to keep the podcast going, we're always grateful for that as well. But friends, remember, your story still has power. Your life has plenty of purpose. So go take the next step in it. Swags out.